What's good, y'all? Just wanted to make a super quick video today, just kind of recapping Dan Quinn's press conference. Once again, a win is a win is a win, so we'll take it. We move, and we have to be ready for the Philadelphia Eagles and focus on them. They did. They had a good game. They had a good game. They did what they were supposed to do. They took care of business, and we squeaked out a win against backup quarterbacks. Backup in Spencer Rattler and Jake Hayner, and we squeaked it out. And we should have put them away. I mean, if Terry and Jaden connect on one out of the three catches down the field, that's ball game. That's ball game right there. We go up by 2 scores. And the roughing the passing calls were egregious. Now they did talk about I think Shane Hockley or Ed Hockley, whichever Hockley it is. They did talk a little bit about the stop and the clock thing. And I got to look it up a little bit more and see what they said. But there was some type of letter that was written up that I did see. So I got to do my research on that. But I mean, it is what it is. The game's over. Somebody did do like a simulated clock, and it would have left like 1.2 seconds left. But who knows? They might have fumbled and botched the snap or whatever and may not have gotten it off. We've seen that before. We've seen that with, I remember Dallas against the Niners, and they didn't get the snap off like in the last seconds. They were trying to come back and score, and they couldn't even get the ball. They couldn't even get the snap off. The time just ran out, I believe, when they lost to the Niners at home in the playoffs 2 years ago. So I mean, yes, they did cheat. The refs did their best with the roughing the passer calls on Dante Fowler. That was terrible. The pass interference they didn't call on Terry McLaurin that they should have called on one of the 3 Jaden to Terry passes down the field that didn't connect. But like Dan Quinn said, and he said this today in his press conference, that he was like, you can complain all you want, but this is not really going to change anything. He said a lot of people can the B word and complain about stuff rather than fight and find a way. There will be bad breaks, bad calls. That's life. You can bitch about it, or you can go get it done. And essentially, we did get it done. We barely got it done because that 2-point conversion play call was awful. And the Saints are the Saints. They're the Aints. Who that say they're gonna beat them Saints, and we got that done. So and then I forgot to talk about the showing of Commanders fans that were there. I mean, the Commanders fans basically took over New Orleans. Of course, there was a meetup party and stuff like that I heard about. Of course, I wasn't down there, but just seeing on Instagram and social media, Twitter, stuff like that, a lot of people went down there for sure. So, all right, but let's get to the injury updates here. So we got some good news with Tyler Biadisz, because Tyler Biadisz missed the game because of an illness, like right before. Like Adam Peters was there checking on him before the game, from what I heard, and they decided for him not to play. It was in his best interest for him not to play. So he is going to be available against the Eagles per Dan Quinn. So he says Tyler Biadisz is expected to be available against the Eagles. So that's good news. We need him. Jalen Carter had a good game against us last time. Their defensive line had a good game against us last time. Zach Bond, Bryce Huff, guys got to the quarterback for sure. Now, Brandon Graham is out. He's done for the season. The guy who was talking a lot about Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, how they weren't getting along and stuff like that. But we had to do a lot better against their defensive line. That's where we lost in the trenches last time we played them on Thursday Night Football. And Tyler Biadisz is going to be huge. You did see Dieter. He was a little bit slow with the snap. You could notice there was a little bit of took a little bit more time with the snap, like the fluidity, the motion of it. Him and Jaden, I guess they did a good job with it. But Jaden did yell at Michael Dieter the one time when he ran for it on like 3rd and 14. I'm not sure what Jaden was frustrated about with Michael Dieter, but Tyler Biadisz, we know he's a leader of the team. He's been a captain before. The run game is better with him. He's had a great season. He's in the Pro Bowl running for one of the best centers in the NFL for sure, and he's definitely done that. And he calls out protections and stuff like that. He's a bad, just like Dan Quinn calls him. He's a bad, He's a bad man for sure. And he's had a great season so far in the run game and pass protection. So we're definitely going to need Tyler Biadisz. So that is good news. That's the good news. Now, some of the bad news, or the unfortunate news, we don't know what's going to happen. Zach Ertz, we already knew this, and Jeremy Chinn are in concussion protocol. He didn't say anything about De'Ami Brown, so I guess that's good news, because I know De'Ami was down for a couple minutes, and then he got back up. But Jeremy Chinn and Zach Ertz, if they are not available, man, Ben Sinnott is going to have to step up. John Bates is going to have to step up. If Jeremy Chinn's not available, Derek Forrest is going to have to play. Derek Forrest did give up that touchdown. Derek Forrest just sent out a tweet. I got to look at the tweet that he put out yesterday after the game, but basically he just said, he's got to get his sea legs back. I know a lot of people are giving Derek Forrest a hard time, but he's got to get his sea legs back, man. He hasn't played a game in so long. Like, he's been on the sidelines, he's been on special teams, he hasn't really been in the game flow. So to ask a guy to come in there in the last couple of plays to make a stop on a quick hit to Foster Moreau, I just wouldn't really go in on Derek Forrest and give him a hard time like people have been giving him. I just think, he's got to get his feet under him and get used to the game speed, because he hasn't played in a bunch of games. This is we're 9-5. That was game 16 of the season. And he hasn't really played, and I know his dad has been going in on Twitter, so he has to be ready for that moment. But at the same time, you do have to warm up and get acclimated to the game. I know he's been in the league for a while, not making any excuses for Derek Forrest. But that's just my thoughts on it. And he's going to have to play, man. If Jeremy Chinn is not available, we know how concussions go, guys. I know we've seen guys like Tyrone Tracy for the Giants. He had a concussion against the Steelers, and he was ready to play against us. That usually doesn't happen to us. Concussions, I know everybody's different. Concussion time can be different with each person, and it depends on the hit. Like Zach Ertz, his head bounced off the turf. And then when he got back up, he was wobbly and went back down. So it didn't look good at all. It didn't look good at all. He is, 33, 34, 35 years old? Let me look that up real quick, how old he is. And I don't think he really has a lot of history of being concussed. Like, I brought up Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis, guys that have had history of being concussed. He's 34 years old. And this is somewhat of not a revenge game against the Eagles, but just like a familiarity game. He had his homecoming game against the Eagles on Thursday Night Football where he caught the touchdown, and this is some familiar territory with playing against the Eagles, for sure. So I know he would love to get some type of revenge of beating them after we lost to them on Thursday Night Football. So, but other guys got to step up. Cole Turner's on the practice squad. Colson Yankiv is on the practice squad still, I believe. Let me look that up. Cole Turner's on the practice squad. And Colson Yankoff is not on the practice squad. But the only tight end that we have on the practice squad right now is Cole Turner. So we'll see what happens till tomorrow. Colson Yankoff is actually on the 53-man roster. So we'll see tomorrow. Like, they usually work out guys on Tuesday. So if they bring in a tight end to work out, or they just elevate Cole Turner to the practice squad later on in the week, or from the practice squad, then you'll see, like, hey, Zach Ertz may not be available to play. Jeremy Chinn, Derek Forrest, he's got to be ready to go. The safeties that we have on the practice squad is Ben Nickel. He's a special teams guy. Bobby Price can play special teams and corner. He's on the practice squad. So just be prepared for that. And other guys are going to have to step up. Percy Butler as well. Just be prepared for that. But like I said, the best news really is Tyler Biadisz. Tyler Biadisz is going to be available because we definitely need him for sure. All right, guys, that's the injury update for today. You guys let me know what you guys think. As always, Hail to Commanders. Peace.